Most people are obsessed with being normal. I've never been that girl. Here are 6 weird, abnormal habits that I've done that have completely changed my life. And number 6 is the best. I've walked to class chanting mantras, gave up negative self-talk for Lent, and I don't own a TV. These aren't really the kind of things you find in a self-help book, but they have changed my life so much. So if you're a little different like me, or you like to live life on your own terms, then these 6 habits might be exactly what you need. They're unconventional, maybe even a little strange, but they've shaped my life more than anything else I've done, and maybe they'll help you too. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Marielle. At 22, I got everything I thought I wanted. A 6-figure salary, working on Wall Street for Goldman Sachs, and living in my dream apartment in New York City. But on the inside, I felt super empty. So I walked away from all of it and I started the journey inward. In this channel, I share everything I've learned since about slowing down, tuning in, and building self-awareness to live a life in alignment with who you truly are. So without further ado, let's get started. So number 1, I don't own a TV, and I never have. I've never, ever had a TV. I don't know why. I just haven't. I don't have a Netflix subscription. I don't have Hulu or Peacock or any of those. I don't own any subscription to any service with TV. When I was a kid growing up, I never had a TV in my room. I never had a TV in my apartment in New York City. And even now in my apartment, I don't have a TV. I just don't want to be influenced by outside noise as much as I can, and that's one thing that's in my control, and so I watch things very sparingly. It also sounds weird, but I really want to be alone with my thoughts. I actually do. I don't want to run away from my thoughts and distract myself with TV, for example, and that's a conscious decision. And I guess it helped that I didn't have a TV growing up, but I just kept it going, and now I don't have a TV, I don't have Netflix, I don't do any of those things. I feel like there are so many moments in my life where I have numbed myself or like gone to distraction, that with this, I just thought it was in my control, and I just didn't want to know that I was like turning on the TV just to not feel how I was feeling on the inside. Without Netflix or TV, I can actually like be with myself and just sit alone and understand what's coming up for me, or like enjoy my company, I guess, which is, I guess, weird because I want to spend time alone with myself. I find it such like a good time to just relax and kind of like understand who you are. And what is more important is I don't want to be influenced by external things or negative things in the news or negative things I see on TV. And like, we as humans, we're so susceptible to what's put in front of us. We actually are primed for certain environments, and that's what modern marketers do really well. I just don't want to be a part of that. And so I just decided I'm not going to be. And part of that is not having a TV. Some people may say I'm not in touch with reality and I don't know what's going on in the world, but I would say that I don't really need to know those things all the time, every day. And I have regular social media anyway, which has sources of that. So I don't find that listening to what a select few people have decided is the important news of the day is what I should also agree is the important news of the day. I think the important news is the people that I helped during the day, or the people that I met during the day in my experience, and how am I spreading kindness or happiness in my everyday experience? I don't need to worry about what's happening on the other side of the world because it's so far away from anything that's in front of me. And that's how I felt about TV and news, and just not wanting to just intake that without realizing, because as humans, we are very susceptible. And I feel like my brain is very impressionable, and especially when I was growing up. So I just never had a TV. Like, for example, when I go on social media, if I see that someone on a story is about to get a matcha, or that someone got a matcha, I know later on in the day, if I go somewhere where they have that, the first thought that pops into my mind is that I should get a matcha too. And I'm like, whoa, this happened once. And I'm like, hold up, like I would not have thought about a matcha if it weren't for watching what this person put on their story. So I'm very aware that, imagine I'm watching TV, I'm not even aware of the ways in which I'm being influenced by that TV, and the ways in which my experience of life is being primed by what I'm taking in. So that's number 1. I don't have a TV. I don't think I really will ever get a TV unless we have like a TV room one day. And I had that as a kid. We always had a TV room, so everything was separate. And I really liked that. Okay, number 2. I gave up negative self-talk for Lent one year. So for some of you who don't know, Lent is a Catholic tradition where for 40 days you give up something. And a lot of people like to give up, ice cream or sweets or usually like a physical thing. And I wanted to give up an experience. I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't like cake and I don't like ice cream and I never have. I don't know why, but I don't eat cake. And so I'm like, well, that's not really a problem for me. But what is a problem for me is that sometimes I'm really hard on myself and sometimes I'm really negative, and that's not great. So I thought, okay, let me do something different this year, and I'm gonna give up negative self-talk for Lent. And believe it or not, it was genuinely the best time of my life. This was my senior year of college. It was my final semester in college. And it was like, there's so much pressure at the end of that experience to like make sure that you're doing everything that you've wanted to do. And like, I already had a job, so I was kind of just enjoying myself, but I wanted to find a way to be kind to myself in this interesting time. And it worked like magic. Like anytime I had a feeling or a thought or an emotion that came up that was negative and judgmental and comparing to other people, I was like, nope, I can't do that. For the next 40 days, I'm actually not allowed to do that. So I would sort of like giggle it off or like ignore it. And because I did that, I did what I actually wanted to do for those next 40 days of my life. Overall, I just remember feeling happier. And I obviously still had to, I had goals and I had to get grades and get good grades for the end of my senior year. But I had to learn a kinder way to be with myself. So the fact that I had set a rule around I'm not allowed to talk negatively about myself opened up new possibilities of, oh, well, if I'm not allowed to do that and then that is something I'm giving up, then I need to create new ways to interact with myself, which actually are compelling and conducive to my life. I also remember hearing this stat that like 95% of our thoughts come from the day before. And I was like, how many of these thoughts are like from a past experience, or how many of these thoughts are something that I like thought before yesterday, but then like today's a new day, like I don't need to think that, I kind of want to think something else. This was such a cool experience. Like I felt lighter, I felt happier, I felt like I did the things I wanted to do, and I didn't really let anyone stop me. And I think it's a really good experience. You don't have to believe in Lent or even be Catholic to do this. You can just decide that for 30 days, I'm gonna give up negative self-talk. I think a lot of the times we give up physical things, but it was really interesting to give up something that was an internal experience. And like I said, this is my senior year of college. So I don't know why in college I decided to give up negative self-talk, but I genuinely had probably the best few months of my life. Okay, number 3. I repeated mantras out loud every morning. This is more common sense now. People talk about mantras a lot, but at the time I was in college and that wasn't really a normal thing to talk about mantras or like meditation at the time. And the way that I would do this is that when I transferred colleges, I had to work really hard to get into the business school at this new school that I was at. And I essentially took a course load, which was like a full year of a course load into one semester. So I had like so much on. It was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I knew that I needed to get myself in a state where I could do this because I couldn't let self-doubt or anything get in my way. And I really felt this way. And so I was in college and I had 8 a.m.s because my schedule was so packed. I had 8 a.m.s every day. And on my way to my 8 a.m., so at like 7:30 in the morning, I'm walking to the business school, eating an apple, and saying my mantra out loud. It was like a daily anchoring thing for me. At the time, I had no idea what I was doing. Like in the sense I didn't know these words, anchor and mantra. I had no idea. I just knew that every day I needed to tell myself something that would get me into a good state to want to take on the day, especially when it can feel like there's so much on my shoulders of like I have to perform, like I have to do well. And so I kind of just wanted to let that fall to the wayside and just focus on what I could control and focus on my inputs. And every morning I would walk on this road where everyone was walking. It's like 7:30 in the morning. I have my apple in hand. I'm just like, my mantra was, I am confident I can do this. It was what I needed to believe at the time, because at the time, when I told the counselors at the school this is what I was planning on doing, they told me I was gonna fail. And they said that like 90% of people who try this fail. And I was like, but you don't know me. So like, I'm gonna figure this out. And this was one of the ways that I had to figure this out, and like finding the way to to get into the business school was just this mantra. It helped me so much because every day I would just be like walking to school, just sort of like getting this energy up in my body to be like, I can do this. Like, I know there's self-doubt. I know there are things happening in my experience, but like, I can do this and I'm confident, and I'm confident that I can do this. So it was really good. And I would just say it every morning. I would put my shoulders back and I would just walk and I'd eat my apple. And I'm like, I'm confident I can do this. I'm confident I can do this. And it was just so funny, but also one of the best things I've ever done. Okay, number 4. I used a ball of light to train my focus. This is a little bit out there, but this also worked when I was in college. So I had one of my 8 a.m.s was like this really dry and boring law class. And I love reading, so I enjoyed the reading, but after class, not the 7 a.m. when you're sitting there. And everyone beside me was cozy. Like, some people brought blankets, they had their hoods on, and half the class was asleep, like genuinely asleep. And there I was, 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning, just sitting there like focusing so hard. And I watched this TED Talk in high school, I think it was, and it was from this monk talking about this practice where essentially you take a ball of light, you imagine a ball of light, and you put it on your focus. So if my focus is talking to all of you, I'm envisioning a ball of light in front of the camera because I'm putting my focus and my energy towards you. And I hope you can feel the difference because I can immediately. But I remember going to this law class and just using this practice because honestly, I was about to fall asleep. I'm like, this is so boring. I loved the professor. He was amazing. But I'm just like, this content is just like, it was a lot, it was difficult, and it was boring. And I was like, okay, so I need to figure out a way to make this engaging and fun for me. Otherwise, like, I'm gonna lose my focus. And like I said, I was trying to get into the business school at the time and I needed to get an A in this class. So I used this ball of light. So I'd envision you can envision like a white or a yellow ball of light. I think mine is usually like just a bright yellow. And I would envision this ball of light on top of the professor, like just as if it were right there. And all I would do for the full hour and a half of this class is just train my focus. I'm like, he is the only thing that is getting my attention right now. Everything that he says to me is something that I need to hear. And like, this is all for my greater good of like getting a good grade in this class. Like, that was my mindset. And I just had that ball of light and it's so powerful. So I think this is a great practice with anyone you love or your friends or your family. Just taking that moment to really give them your presence and your full focus. I know that this is something I need to keep revisiting all the time because I feel this world is very distraction oriented and it's important to like really understand focus. But in this busy world, it's such a gift to give someone your full presence and focus. Not only is it beneficial to you if, for example, you're in a class and you need to learn something, but the gift and that you can give someone you truly care about will benefit them so much. Okay, number 5. I see my life in systems. This isn't so crazy, but this is crazy because I was like 16 at the time when I first found this out. And I read this book called Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. And I just remember reading this at 16 and being like, my whole life has changed. Like, I can't look at things the same. And part of it was that I'm the first to admit that I don't have discipline in everyday life. Like, I maybe have accomplished things in my life, but it's because I built systems around them that make it so easy for me to do it. Like, I might be a lazy girl achiever because I'm practical, that if something is gonna take 3 hours, like, how can I make a system where it takes 1? Like, I don't wanna waste time. I don't think it is so much that I'm lazy. I think that I genuinely just hate wasting time. And I also think that I care. So I'm like, I wanna get to other things and I don't wanna waste my time on things that I don't care so much about. But I have to make things so bite-sized, like literally like a squirrel could do it, so that I will do it. And yes, I just compared myself to a squirrel. But what I love about this is that it doesn't depend on my motivation for that day. It's already a system in place and it's just done. Like, there's no extra effort that it takes from me. And also I think what's helpful with that is it doesn't take any more thought. So these things are already in place and I can just do them and execute. There's one example from the book that has stuck with me ever since. Like, from the first time I read this book to now, I think about this, like, honestly, probably at least once a month of my life. Like, it always comes up and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's a different way to think about things. So basically, there's this one example that Donella uses, and there's a bathtub. And when you think about the inputs of your life, that's the water coming into the bathtub. And then the drain is the outputs of your life, and that's what's draining your energy. Okay, so if we think of that as energy, it's like, what are you putting into into your bathtub? What energy is going in, and what's coming out? What energy is being depleted? And then your life is represented by the level of the water. So if you think about, you're putting in so much effort, but the level of the water isn't really changing, then like, what are the outputs in your life? And vice versa. But what's so amazing about this book and this whole concept is that basically it's still relevant to me today, because when I first read this, all I thought about was the inputs. I was like, what am I putting in that's like helping my level of water rise? Like basically, essentially saying, what inputs am I doing to achieve the things I want, or like for my life to like keep moving upwards? And as I've gotten older, I've actually realized that it's the outputs which matter most. The outputs are the drain. Those are the things that drain your energy, the people you're surrounding yourself with, the ideas that you're still holding on to, the negative thoughts and beliefs, and the bad habits that are holding you back from continuing to raise your level of water. It made me realize that so many systems I had, were actually draining my energy. And because it was things I didn't care about. So what I love about this is that this concept is relevant essentially for the rest of my life. Like I will constantly be reassessing my inputs and my outputs in my life. And you can even think about it, just what am I adding to my life and what's being drained from my life? And just constantly reassessing this. And the coolest part is just that I read this book in high school, and the concepts are still relevant to my life, because throughout my life and for the rest of my life, I will be assessing the inputs and the outputs in my life, which is so interesting. So Thinking Systems, amazing book, but really the concepts in that book and that one concept of thinking about the bathtub and thinking about what am I putting into my life and then what's draining my life. It's mind-blowing, and it genuinely changed my life. And we've made it number 6. I quit social media for a year. I know that's kind of crazy because I'm back on social media, but I had a year off. And I think in that year, I really needed to think about why I would come back to social media. I did not have an Instagram, didn't post on it. I actually deleted my Instagram that I had since I was like a kid. And I just kind of needed a fresh start, to be honest. And I deleted my old Facebook, never had a Twitter, I've never had a TikTok, but one platform that I always loved was YouTube. And I think the only reason I'm back now talking to all of you is because I took that pause, because I reassessed my values and what I align with. And I basically realized, actually, I love YouTube. Like, I think YouTube is such an amazing platform to get your message across, to talk with all of you and hear how you're doing. And like, reading the comments is so amazing. And knowing that something I went through can then be something that maybe you're going through, or something that you also learned, and we can like bond over that. And I just needed that year off though to realize all of this and to realize the power and the beauty in social media, because I think I was using it in ways that weren't helping me, like comparison and just looking at other people's lives and thinking that my life needed to look that way. But the more that I had that time off and came home to myself, the more that I realized that like I really love my life, certain things that I really love doing. What was really cool about this time in my life was that I was really experiencing life. Like, I think I didn't even realize how much when I saw a pretty sunset, for example, I would just immediately grab my phone to take a photo of it. But in this year off, I would just appreciate the sunset. And that was such a change, because I was so used to just grabbing my phone and putting it on Instagram. But what was really nice about this was just appreciating it, and then also realizing that, you know, there is some beauty to capturing the moment. Like, I love photography. So for me, I couldn't really shut out how much I really loved taking photos and sharing things with friends, and that's just who I am. And I'm also wired for connection. So I'm actually not the biggest social media person in general, but I love sharing things and I love connecting with people, and I love people. So I took the year to kind of engage with people in my real life. And then now that I'm back in a different capacity, I feel much more equipped for that experience. And And I just feel so much better. Like, if you need a digital detox, just take it. Like, there is no pressure to be on social media. I didn't miss anything. I really didn't. If anything, I got to connect with my friends more because I didn't see what they were up to. And when I called them, they would tell me, but they would tell me from their perspective, which was really nice to just connect that way. There are a lot of positives to social media, and obviously now I'm back on it, but this digital detox really gave me a moment to just enjoy what I love and to notice now that when I do go back on Instagram, for example, I'm more aware that, oh, I just like compared myself to this person's life, but like I'm really happy with my life right now. So that delineation and that ability to see the difference was super helpful for me. And that's it. Those are my 6 weird, abnormal habits that worked for me and genuinely completely changed my life. This started from when I was in high school to now. And the most important thing is just knowing what works for you. Some of the things I did weren't trendy. In fact, all of them probably are not at all. But I don't care. It worked and it was amazing. So if there are things that seem a little bit weird to others that you want to try, you don't need permission. Just try it. You never know on the other side what you're gonna feel like. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you've tried in the comments, and let me know if you've tried any of these things, especially the digital detox. I feel like that's kind of popular. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I love you all. I will see you in the next one.